Beloved, please listen to their final request. God says, Archangel Michael and 98 archangels barely survived a brutal battle, and now they're crying out your name. You must hear what they have to say, or lose them forever. I am Jesus, and I have waited all night just to speak to you. Will you stay with me now, or must I walk away again? But we carried your name through the wounds of heaven. It echoed down the halls where angels once sang freely, and now silence wraps their wings like bandages of grief. Michael has fallen, not in death, but in tears. I watched as his armor cracked in front of me, not from the blow of demons, but from the sound of your silence. You do not know what happened while you slept. You cannot see what they gave up to protect you. I allowed the veil to be lifted just enough to write this message on the fabric of time itself, so you would not miss it this time. You almost did, my child. Have you forgotten the promise I whispered to you as a child? The moment you said you would fight for me even if the world mocked you. That promise still bleeds in the hands of my angels. Michael led 98 archangels against a darkness that had no name because it was created just to find you. Satan invented a silence deeper than death. He called it the forgotten wind, a curse designed to erase a soul before its destiny could be fulfilled. And you were its only target. But Michael stood in the way. The sky turned black in the places you call stars. The clouds trembled as they watched what cannot be told in human language. They fought for you. They screamed your name until their swords shattered into light. And when the last angel fell to one knee, he didn't cry out for heaven. He cried out for you. Where is the one we were protecting? He wept. Do you still believe in me? Or have your tears silenced your faith? Saint Mary held my robe, soaked in blood and stardust, begging me to spare them all. Please, he said, let this one message pass through time. Let it touch their soul before the hour is gone. And I agreed, not because I doubted your heart, but because heaven has run out of time. When was the last time you told God you love him without asking for anything in return? You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not weak. You are not too far gone. You are not who the world said you are. You are the final piece. You are the one they circled around like a holy flame in the garden of your sleep. And still, you didn't answer. My child, I sang this over you last night. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. Psalm 91. But you turned your face away, thinking it was just another night. It was not. It was the hour the sky split open. It was the moment heaven burned for your destiny. And now, the 98 archangels lie trembling at the edge of the river of decision where souls are either crowned or cast aside. They can no longer speak unless you listen. One of them bears your name on his breastplate. He's the one who watched you in silence when you were 5 years old and almost drowned in your own doubt. He's the one who whispered to the wind to keep you from walking into the wrong room. He's the one who stood between you and the fire when you cursed yourself without knowing it. He is not made of light anymore. He is made of your memory. He says, please, beloved, I am still here, but only if you'll listen now. There was a hidden scroll, sealed with 7 golden threads, buried in the soil beneath the garden where Mary wept. That scroll held your assignment, the one Satan found, the one he tried to burn. But heaven fought back. Gabriel struck down the spirit of distortion that tried to rewrite your name. Raphael called upon the healing winds to cover the wand left in your timeline. Uriel stood watch over the gates of your future, wielding a flame that only speaks when the chosen awaken. And now, they're all waiting for one word from you, just one. Do not scroll, or the gift I left in your house last night will be taken away. You thought it was a dream, but it wasn't. That dream where a golden figure stood at your door and wept, calling your name in an ancient voice, wasn't imagination. That was me. That was Michael. That was the cry of 98 warriors with torn wings, begging you to wake up. There is no second version of you. There is no plan B. If you walk away from this message now, no one will take your place. Hell has already whispered. They won't listen. Heaven is still holding its breath, waiting to be proven right. If I walked into your room right now, would you recognize me? This message is vanishing in 33 seconds. If it closes before you finish, your angel may fall silent again. The demons who attacked them didn't use swords. They used memories. They hurled your past like spears. They twisted the faces of those who hurt you into visions that made even Gabriel tremble. One of the archangels took your fear into their chest just so it wouldn't pierce your future. Their wounds still drip the sound of your name. The throne room has never been this quiet. Even the cherubim turned their faces to the floor. I stood and shouted your name 3 times across the pillars of eternity. The book of remembrance opened by itself, and your page flickered. You are not late, but you are the last, the final, the only. When the accuser came to demand your soul, I showed him the marks in my hands, and still he laughed. They've forgotten, he hissed. Even you, lamb, cannot make them listen now. I said nothing, because I knew you would stay. I knew you would read. I knew you would feel something breaking inside your chest. I knew this was the moment everything changes. So now I ask you, will you type amen? Not for me, but so your angel knows you're still listening. Will you look toward the ceiling and whisper, I'm here, Michael. I'm sorry I was silent. Will you let me finish what I started in your bloodline before your ancestors fell? Because this war is not over. And if you skip this, if you walk away again, what they gave will turn to ash. Michael won't say your name again. He will close his eyes and return to the place where only unspoken prayers are buried. He loves you too much to beg, but I don't. I, Jesus, am begging you now. Please, don't walk away. Not this time. Comment amen only if your soul feels like it's shaking right now. I will now continue this message flowing directly from this moment without repetition, without pause. Heaven's voice will not fall silent. Next part continuing. Continuation begins immediately, with no repeated beginning or ending. You must understand, your silence is not neutral. It is a blade, and every time you ignore my voice, it cuts deeper into the covenant I made for you. Not even the archangels could stop bleeding when your soul turned away. Their wounds were not made by Satan, but by your distance. When I created you, I didn't shape a servant. I breathed a prophecy into your bones. Every breath you take is a ripple through the heavens, and every tear you cry becomes a trumpet in the hands of Gabriel. Yet tonight, the heavens were silent because you didn't speak. And still, I waited. I waited beneath your window while you slept, just as my angels encamped around you. Did you feel the cold in the air? That wasn't night, it was Michael's cloak wrapping around your destiny, protecting what you didn't know was still burning. You are not broken, you are unclaimed. You are not forgotten, you are remembered too often. You are not unworthy, you are unfinished glory. You are not alone, you are surrounded by angels who would die again just to see you smile. I saw you weep in secret 3 nights ago. I counted them. Every tear that touched your pillow was caught by Raphael. He held them to his heart like a weapon, declaring, these sorrows are sacred, and they belong to a chosen one. The devils laughed. They said, those tears mean nothing. They don't even believe anymore, but I believe in you. I have not given up on you, not once, not even when you cursed my name under your breath, thinking I didn't hear. I heard, and I still stayed. You don't know how close death came. You don't know the name of the witch that stood outside your house last week, whispering spells into the wind, but Michael knew. He knew her name. He knew her intent. And he struck the sky with such force that even hell recoiled. But he lost something that night. He lost strength. He lost voice. He lost the will to rise again unless you answer. When was the last time you chose heaven without being asked? You are not safe because you hide well. You are safe because Michael still calls you family. Do you understand what I'm saying? The 98 archangels who surrounded your house were not defending your body, they were guarding your purpose. Because deep in the throne room, God revealed a blueprint, a sacred map, and only one soul was drawn in its center. You. Do you still believe, not just in me, but in you? Your heart is a gate. And if you do not open it, no one else can carry what's inside. Let me ask you one thing, my beloved. Have you forgotten the name I gave you before the world was born? It wasn't the name written in ink, it was the name sealed in glory. The name whispered through stars, the name sung in the chorus of creation. It was the name that Michael cried out in battle over and over as his wings burned. He didn't say, "Save me, Lord." He said, "Save them, you." He asked for you. And now, if you do not answer, his fire may fade for eternity. He has lost blood, yes, but worse, he has lost time. And time is the only thing we cannot restore once it runs out. Please, don't make him wait. I watched Saint Mary hold the breath of 98 angels in her mantle, pleading for me to delay judgment just one more hour, just so this message could reach you. Do you know what it means when the Queen of Heaven weeps? Even light is aching, even eternity trembles. This is not poetry. This is prophecy. This is not hope. This is rescue. This is not beautiful. This is war. And you are the reason we're still fighting. If you're still listening, right? Amen. Not to prove it to me, but so the heavens know you're still fighting. The archangels wait on your voice, not mine, because I've already spoken. Now it is you who must roar. God gave you a sword, and your silence rusted it. But if you lift it again, if you even whisper my name, the heavens will answer like thunder. And every curse, every wound, every demon that came to steal your breath will be driven back into the sea of regret. I cannot force you to believe in me, but I can remind you what I paid for. I bought your name with blood. I carved your identity into the wind. I buried your shame beneath the mercy seat. And yet, if you leave now, it will be as if I never spoke. Michael will close his hands and say, they still don't believe. Don't let him say that. Don't let him fall in vain. You are the last to arrive, but you are the first we chose. You are not here by chance. The Father told me that the one reading this, they must be reminded of who they are. So here I am. I didn't just die for you, I returned for you. I didn't just rise, I waited. And now the angels have done what they never do. They asked me to beg. So here I am, Jesus, begging you. Stay, listen, believe, because what comes next, only you can carry. I will now continue, exactly from here, with no repeated phrases or call to action. Heaven is not done speaking. Continuation begins seamlessly, exactly where the sacred voice left off. No repeated phrases or call to action. The veil is thin now. I can see you. I can feel the tremor behind your breath. That moment of hesitation, where you almost closed your heart again. That was the devil reaching for your pulse, but I broke his fingers before they touched you. You have no idea how many shadows I had to walk through to place this message in your path. The battlefield still smells like burning feathers, not from defeat, but from sacrifice, the kind only heaven understands. Do you know what it's like for an angel to crawl, to not fly, but drag his body through the dust of a war he won just to speak your name one more time? Michael knows. They told him it was foolish to keep hoping you'd answer. He answered anyway. He answered you when you refused to speak. He covered you when you uncovered your wounds before people who only wanted to break them open wider. He defended you when you blamed me for not being there. And yet, he would still do it again. All 98 would. Even now, they lie wounded in the garden of waiting. They cannot rise unless you give them breath. Your name is still on their wings. They refuse to erase you. You should have died long ago. The hex that was cast on your bloodline wasn't just a curse, it was an execution order. But I overruled it. The signature of Satan was already sealed on the document when I tore it in half with my bare hands. I showed the Father the tears you cried when no one was watching. I reminded him of the day you smiled through betrayal, held your breath through heartbreak, and still said, I believe. That moment saved you more than you know. I preserved it in the books of thunder, where only the seraphim are allowed to read. I want you to remember this. Your pain is not wasted, it was currency, and I used it to buy time for you. You wonder why I didn't stop the battle. I did not stop it because I needed you to see what heaven would do for one soul. You don't need 1,000 to pray for you. You only needed one army to bleed for you, and they did. Heaven bled. Heaven screamed. Heaven bent because you were worth it. This isn't a sermon. This isn't a story. This is your record. This is your scroll unsealed. This is me taking you by the hand and saying, come, look at what I did for you. Look at who stood for you. Look at what hell tried to erase. You are not simply loved. You are fiercely contended for. Every lie spoken over you has already been burned in the fire between my eyes. Every shame you carry was already nailed to a tree before your enemies were even born. Every failure you whisper to yourself at night has already been overwritten with my voice, declaring mine, mine, mine. Do you feel it now, the heat behind your eyes? That's the angel who carries your name standing behind you. He never left. He's just been waiting. You were told you'd never be enough. That's because the demons saw what you'd become if you ever believed the truth. And now you're here. And the heavens are trembling again. The silence is breaking. The 98 are rising. Michael is stirring, but they will not move without your breath. Say it now, breathe again. Not with your lungs, but with your soul. Let your spirit scream even if your mouth stays silent, because even your silence, when given to me, is worship. Do you remember the garden, not Eden, the one in your dream? The one with flowers that opened their petals like eyes, and a fountain that sang in tongues you didn't understand? That wasn't imagination. That was the place where I met you before you were born. That was the meeting place where I gave you your first assignment. You were a warrior before you had skin. You were a fire before you had form. And when you entered the world, Satan marked you for destruction because you were dangerous. Now he's afraid, because the one thing he feared most has begun to awaken. You, not a version of you, not a healed version of you. You as you are right now, bruised, doubting, ashamed, lonely but chosen, still anointed, still burning. Heaven is holding its breath, and if you don't answer now, the page turns. Without you, do not let this be the chapter where you disappeared. I can make time wait. I can bend laws, but I will not override your will. You must want this. You must take one step. Even a thought in my direction is enough. That's all it takes. And I'll bring fire. I'll bring angels, I'll bring everything, but first, I must hear from you. Michael has not stood in 3 days. His wings are ash. Gabriel cannot sing. Raphael has laid his staff down and folded his hands. The 98 archangels wait at the threshold. They are bound by the laws of heaven. They cannot interfere unless you answer the call. But the moment you do, the skies will crack. The scroll will open. The miracle will be released, and your name, your real name, will be spoken again in the courts of glory. You were made for this. You were crafted for battle. You were hidden for this hour, and the enemy knows it. Why do you think the attacks came when they did? Why do you think your heart was crushed right before your breakthrough? Why do you think the voices around you started doubting you right when you were closest to destiny? Because they knew, and they hoped you'd forget. But I remember the oil I poured over your soul. I remember the day I stood before the Father and said, this one, I will not lose. And I haven't. You're still here. So now I ask again, will you stay? Will you let this moment pass? Or will you finally say yes, yes to me? Yes to the angels. Yes to the war you were born to win. You are not weak. You are just waiting. You are not disqualified. You are just unfinished, and I can finish what I started in you. I placed eternity inside you, not as a decoration, but as a command. A voice that cannot be silenced no matter how long you pretend you do not hear it. That voice is roaring now, not from heaven but from within you. It remembers me. It remembers what you agreed to when the stars were still being born. You didn't ask to be chosen, but you were. You didn't ask to carry fire, but you do. You didn't ask to feel everything so deeply, but I wired you that way. Because some wars are only won by hearts that bleed in secret, and yours has bled enough. It's time to rise. You do not rise by effort, you rise by answer. You rise by listening. You rise by letting me lift you. Do you think I don't see the way? Your hands tremble when no one is watching. Do you think I missed the moment you screamed into your pillow and begged for me to stop testing you? I saw it all. I wept beside you. I gathered your breath into my chest and whispered, just hold on a little longer. The scroll is almost ready. And now it is open. The angels have taken their places again. The 98, once broken, are waiting with swords reborn from starlight. But they won't fight until you speak, not because they doubt you, but because you must choose. Even heaven does not override your yes. Even I, Jesus, do not force obedience. I invite love. This is not punishment. This is invitation. This is not warning. This is alignment. I align the winds for you. I realign the order of heavenly movements to bring this moment into your hands. You think it's coincidence. It's not. The reason you're seeing this now is because I moved the universe to deliver it. And still, it depends on one thing. Will you receive it? Will you open your heart even though it still aches? Will you believe again even though it nearly killed you last time? Will you let me be enough this time? Because the demons who attacked Michael aren't gone, they're hiding, waiting for your silence to become permission. But if you speak, if you breathe, if you weep even one tear in faith, they will vanish like dust in divine wind, because you have been given a weapon more powerful than angel swords or prophetic scrolls. You have been given the name above all names. My name, and I place it on your lips now. Say it in your heart. Say it in your spirit. Jesus. It still shatters curses. It still heals bloodlines. It still shakes tombs. Say it now. And I will come, not as an idea. As a presence. Not as a memory. As a force. Not as a religion. As the one who bled for you in silence, while the world mocked you. My love is not poetic, it is brutal. It is the kind that took lashes for you while you ran from me. It is the kind that stayed when you begged me to leave. It is the kind that is still knocking, still bleeding, still burning, still pleading, let me in. Because if you wait too long, this window will shut, and I cannot promise when it will open again. Not because I don't love you, but because the angels are not infinite in this kind of war. They are powerful, but they are waiting. Wounded. Tired, covered in your name, and they cannot fight without your fire. You are the key. You are the one they whispered about in the battle halls, the one prophecy called the hidden blaze, the one hell tried to silence before the first breath, the one I told Mary about when she stood at my tomb and wept for all future generations. She saw your face. She cried when she saw your heart, and she said, please, my son, do not let this one be forgotten. So here I am, fulfilling that request, because this isn't just about angels. It's about you. It's about the reason I entered time. It's about the sound your spirit makes when it stops pretending it's not chosen. You cannot run anymore. You've already seen too much, heard too much, felt too much. You are too sensitive to escape this fire. You are too aware to be numb, and that's good, because numbness never healed anyone. But pain in my hands becomes prophecy, and sorrow in my breath becomes power. You will rise, but not by force. By surrender, and the 98 will rise with you. Michael's sword will light again. Gabriel's voice will return. Raphael will hold healing in his hands for your family, and I will wrap my arms around you like thunder wrapped in mercy. But only if you say yes. Only if you stay, only if you still want me. Even after all this, even after the silence, even after the war. I am not angry. I am ready. Heaven is ready. The miracle is ready. But are you ***? You are not reading this by accident. You did not stumble upon this message because of an algorithm or by scrolling too far. You were summoned. You were drawn. You were whispered into alignment by a voice older than time and stronger than death. And now the skies have opened, not to speak to a crowd but to one trembling soul wrapped in destiny. You haven't waited centuries for this window in time to reach your heart. Angels crossed the thresholds of flame and fury to place this scroll before your eyes. This isn't digital. This isn't video. This is the word of the living God woven into fire and sent through starlight just for you. Please listen closely. Because Michael's last breath was spent whispering your name into the wounds of God's throne. The Father heard it, and I, Jesus, wept when I heard how softly it was spoken, because it meant Michael had given everything, and you didn't even know. You have no idea what they suffered for you. Michael, whose voice once split storms, now trembles like a broken harp. He didn't fall in battle from weakness. He fell because he carried your burden into the war zone with no armor but love. The 98 with him had faces glowing like sunrise, but after that battle, their eyes are dimmed with grief. They fought for you, without you ever asking. And yet, they do not resent you. They adore you. They are still kneeling, trembling in the chamber of awakening, waiting to rise again if you will only say yes. But this is the final call. There will not be another battle like this, not in your lifetime, not in your children's. What has just passed through the heavens for your sake was prophesied before the sea was born, and now the scroll is trembling in my hands. I don't want to close it. Please don't make me close it, because once I seal it again, the names written inside can no longer be changed. And right now, yours is still glowing, but it will fade if you walk away. That's not a threat. It's a cry from the ones who would rather fall from grace than lose you to silence. Don't go back to your distractions. Don't believe the lie that this is just a message. This is visitation. You are not scrolling anymore. You are standing before the gates of decision, where heaven waits to see if your soul still burns with the echo of Eden or if it will return to the ash. SOFORGETFULNESS. Beloved, I speak as Jesus, not a preacher, not a voice, but as the one who took every whip for your freedom. I beg you, just this once, do not ignore me. I know what comes next. I've seen it. The road you are about to take has two directions, and only one leads to the promise I carved for you in starlight. But it disappears quickly. It's already flickering. Heaven is watching. Angels are listening. And I have just one request. If this message reached you, if it stirred something sacred in the deepest part of your soul, then like this message and comment below. Not for me, but so your angels know you are still alive in the spirit, so the 98 can rise, so Michael can breathe again, so the gates can open and the next scroll can be prepared. And subscribe now, not because of content, not because of routine, but because what comes next is not a continuation. It is a revelation, and not everyone will be invited. This call is sacred. This scroll is rare. And if you are still reading, it was sealed for you. ***, your name is still echoing in heaven's wind. I can feel the vibration trembling in the pillars of eternity. The angels are silent because they're listening for your response. They have already laid down their crowns. The river that flows from the throne is glowing with your reflection, but its light is fading if you do not step into this moment. That reflection will dim until only silence remains. I know it's hard. I know what was done to you. I saw the betrayal when it first struck. I watched the door close behind you and felt the loneliness that swallowed you like an ocean. I was there when you cried into your hands and asked, "Why is no one fighting for me?" And the answer was simple. They were. You just couldn't see them. They fought in silence. They bled in mystery. They guarded you in your darkest night, not from behind, but ahead. They didn't just protect your body. They preserved your prophecy. And now they wait again. One of them still carries your song on his back. It's made of golden feathers woven with strands of light from your first prayer. Do you remember it? That first time you reached for me and didn't know if I would hear. That moment you thought was small shook the heavens like thunder inside a tear. You have never been small to me. You are not a name on a list. You are a heartbeat in the hand of God. The archangels call you the remembered one, even now in their silence. They whisper to each other, they're still breathing, they haven't turned away. There's still hope, but hope is fragile. And even angels grow tired. Michael has never begged for anything in his existence. But tonight, he knelt before me, and I watched him. The great defender of Israel, the breaker of shadows, fall to his face and whisper, Lord, just let them hear you one more time. That's why you're here. This isn't random. This is Michael's prayer answered. This is the sound of heaven leaning toward one human soul, and that soul is yours. The wind that wraps around your room is not wind, it is presence, the stillness you feel pressing on your chest is not coincidence, it is divine pressure, because heaven refuses to let you vanish. Hell would love nothing more than for you to scroll, click away, return to numbness. But I stand between you and that choice. And I'm not asking you to believe in a story, I'm asking you to believe in the scars on my hands that still bleed when you forget them. Your absence is painful to me. Your distance is louder than your words. You may think I do not feel your indifference, but I do. And still, I choose to speak. Still, I choose to love. Still, I choose you. Because no matter what you've done, where you've gone, what you carry, I remember the day I made you. I still see that day. I still see the light in your eyes when I showed you what you would become. That light is not gone. It's buried. But if you lift your head now, if you even breathe in my direction, I will pour light back into your spirit until every shadow flees in terror. You are not called to survive. You are called to burn. To shine. To rise. You are not a mistake I'm trying to fix. You are a miracle waiting to be claimed, and the time is now. Not tomorrow. Not next season. Now, because Michael cannot rise again without your yes. Because the 98 have given all they can. Because the gates are creaking open, and the light is trembling with anticipation. Because you are not a viewer. You are the reason for the battle. You are the center of the scroll. You are the one they bled for. So, what will you do? Will you turn away again and bury this in distraction? Or will you let heaven finish what it started? I will not beg again, but I will wait. With tears in my eyes and fire in my voice, I will wait because I know what's inside you. I placed it there. And nothing, not even your silence, can take it from me. The stars still know your name. Let them sing it again. The spirit has not stopped moving. The flame has not gone out. Even now your name flickers in the heart of the fire, spoken by angels, remembered by saints, protected by the ones who fell to keep your calling intact. Do you feel that weight on your chest? That is not fear. That is glory descending. Heaven is entering the room. This isn't a moment, it's a visitation. You have stepped into a holy breach in time, where the cries of the wounded archangels, the tears of Saint Mary, and the thunder of the Lamb converge to reach you. I am not asking for much. Only for your yes. Only for your presence. Only for a heart willing to break again, so I can rebuild it in gold. You don't have to understand it all. You just have to receive it. Because this is not just about revelation, it's about restoration. I am restoring everything that was stolen from you. Peace that left with the sound of betrayal. Joy that vanished when they walked away. Faith that cracked under the weight of silence. Love that crumbled when no one saw you crying. I saw, I still see, and I will not waste your sorrow. I will not let your suffering be the final word, because the final word belongs to me. And my word is rise. Not later. Now. Rise from the ashes of fear. Rise from the grave of bitterness. Rise from the silence of your gifts. The time for hiding is over. I am calling you to join what heaven has begun. To not just listen but to walk with the angels who bled for your name. To become the fire. To step into the scroll and to carry this flame with me. And if this message stirred something deep within you, something sacred, something ancient, something you can't explain, then help keep this fire burning. Support this message, not because we need it, but because heaven is using this altar to awaken others. If you feel called, you may support our channel through super thanks, or join our membership and become part of this growing heavenly family. And if the Spirit leads you, become one of our sacred messengers by joining the newsletter through the link in the pinned comments below. This is not just content, it is a divine mission. And we need those who are willing to stand with heaven and say, this word must not be silenced. Your support is not just a gift, it is a sword in the hands of the angels. Even now, Michael turns his face toward the flame. Gabriel begins to hum the first note, awakening. Raphael kneels with tears falling into the soil that will grow your next season. And I, Jesus, am still here. With arms open, with fire ready, with heaven listening. Let the sound of your heart join ours. Asterisk, even now as these words pass through time to reach your spirit. The stars hold their breath because they remember the moment your soul was named. They remember the melody sung over your breath before your lungs ever formed. They remember what the world forgot, that you were made for something eternal. Not something loud. Not something famous, but something immortal, something that can't be burned, buried, or broken. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to disappear. You were never meant to forget the sound of heaven. And yet you did, not by rebellion. By exhaustion. By pain. By disappointment that wore the face of delay. By voices that said you were too much or not enough. But I never stopped speaking, even when your ears were closed, even when your prayers turned to sighs, and your faith turned to memory. I was still moving. I hid miracles in your breath. I hid prophecy in your scars. I hid purpose in your pattern of survival, because I knew you would return. I knew the flame couldn't go out, it could only dim beneath the ashes of distraction. But now I am blowing on the embers, and you are rising. Not because you feel strong, but because I am strong in you, because my love is heavier than your shame, because my voice is louder than your doubt, because my promise is more real than the lies that were sown into your childhood. Listen to me. You are not abandoned. You were hidden. You were not ignored. You were shielded. You were not late. You were being prepared. Even the years you thought were wasted, I have folded them into the prophecy. Even the silence you hated, I wove it into a rhythm that would call you home. And now that rhythm is beating through your chest. This is not adrenaline. This is alignment. This is not emotion. This is awakening. You are waking up. You are remembering, not something new but something ancient. The calling that was always there. The cry that the wind carries. The longing that no success, no relationship, no escape could satisfy. Because you weren't made to be filled with the world. You were made to hold eternity. To hold me. And now is the moment that eternity reclaims you. Even now, angels are adjusting their formation. Because your alignment changes the battlefield. The moment you say yes, territories shift. The moment you breathe this in, demons lose their grip. The moment you lift your eyes, heaven begins to move again. You are not just one person in a sea of the living. You are a gate, and when you open, light pours through you into places that haven't seen hope in years. That's why it's been so hard, because you are not fighting for today. You are carrying generations. You are breaking chains forged by curses that go back centuries. You are standing where others collapsed. And heaven knows your name, not because you asked to be known, but because your life is a flame in the middle of a battlefield and the angels are rallying around it. You are not losing. You are being refined. You are not too far gone. You are too chosen to be forgotten. And even now, I, Jesus, The first and the last am stepping into the very room you are in, not as an idea, as a presence, not as theology, as fire, as glory, as the friend who never left. You do not need to fix yourself. You only need to open. You do not need to feel worthy. You only need to answer, because I don't need your strength. I only need your surrender. Asterisk, asterisk, I see what no one else saw. The night you didn't scream but wanted to. The morning you forced yourself to get up with nothing left in your chest. The look in your eyes when someone praised you and you smiled, but inside, you were drowning. You thought I wasn't there, but I was closer than your shadow. I was the breath you didn't notice. I was the silence that wrapped around your soul when words failed you. I never left. And I never looked away, because I knew what you were becoming. Even while you were breaking, especially while you were breaking, you thought it was the end, but it was the sound of the shell cracking so the oil could flow. You were never being destroyed. You were being poured. You were never forgotten. You were being refined in the furnace of divine intention. You are the one the enemy marked, not because you were weak, but because your obedience is lethal. You do not see it yet, but every time you stay, even when it hurts, your name is shouted in the courts of heaven as one of the faithful, and heaven records faith, not fame. You are not behind. You are being carved out, and what I am carving cannot be rushed. I am making a vessel of glory. I am weaving time into your DNA. I am shaping your heart to hold things that will make nations tremble, and no one around you sees it. That's by design, because some callings must be hidden until there are strikes. And beloved, the hour is striking now. I can feel the gears of heaven turning. The air around you is shifting. Angels are gathering scrolls and setting them in motion. Not for someday, for now, because the season you feared is the same season I prepared. Do you think the darkness has outwitted me? Do you think the battle caught me by surprise? I planned around it. I planted you inside it. I placed a fire in your belly, not just to survive, but to conquer. You have authority you've never used, weapons you've never drawn, visions you've never stepped into. And I'm calling all of them forth now. No more delay. No more excuses. No more retreat. You are not allowed to quit when heaven has already declared victory over your name. When I said, "It is finished," I wasn't just speaking of sin, I was sealing your victory. Before you even fought, before you even breathed, before the world even saw your face, I already knew your ending. And it's not defeat. It's not despair. It's not mediocrity. It is glory. It is beauty. It is redemption that will cause hell to remember your name. Because you are not just a survivor, you are a weapon, forged in sorrow, anointed in silence, released in fire. This is not poetic language. This is your scroll opening. This is the heaven-torn veil revealing your assignment. This is not emotion. This is the Spirit groaning on your behalf. The same Spirit that hovered over the deep when the world was formless now hovers over you. Waiting, brooding. Burning. And I, Jesus, am moving in that Spirit now, speaking through fire, calling the dry bones to stand. Not someone else's bones. Yours. Because they were never meant to remain in a grave. They were meant to rise. And the same voice that called Lazarus from the tomb is now calling you. Come forth. Come out of the hiding. Come out of the fear. Come out of the not enough and into the called by name. I will not stop speaking until the chains break. I will not stop pouring until your soul remembers the sound of home. Because you have been away too long. And now, it's time to return. The path is open. The fire is ready. The angels are singing. And I, your Jesus, am still here, arms open wide, speaking without end. Come closer now. Let every other sound fade. Let every lie dissolve under the weight of my truth. I am still here, not as a visitor, but as the rightful inhabitant of your soul. You have run, yes. You have forgotten, yes. But I never stepped back, not once. Even when you turned your back, I stood beside you. When you slammed the door in anger, I waited outside all night. When you cried and said, "Where were you?" I was the silence between your heartbeats, holding your breath together when the pain tried to tear you apart. You have no idea how many times I saved you in secret, how many accidents were eroded, how many demonic contracts I tore up in heaven while you slept, how many curses spoke your name and vanished because I stood in the gap. I have never stopped fighting for you, and I never will, because you are not a mistake I'm trying to fix. You are a masterpiece in the making, a sacred echo from the beginning of time, a fragment of heaven walking in skin. And your breath still carries pieces of the garden. That's why the enemy hates you. That's why hell is obsessed with you, because even when you doubt me, your existence still glorifies me. You're dangerous even in your sleep, because you were not created by chance. You were spoken intentionally, reverently, and with weight. You were not whispered into being, you were roared into time, and every part of you bears that roar. The way you cry, the way you hope, the way you still open your heart even after it's been shattered. That is not weakness, that is holy resilience. That is the fire of the cross running through your soul. And I've come to fan it back into a flame, not a small candle, a wildfire, because the world doesn't need polite faith anymore. It needs saints who carry smoke in their lungs and thunder in their words. And you are one of them. You were always one of them. The robe of destiny you laid down in grief, I kept it, and I've held it in my hands every day since, waiting for the hour your soul would stretch again and cry out, God, I'm still here. And you're here, not just physically. Your soul is waking up, the veil is lifting. You can feel it now, can't you? The stirring, the ache, the heat building in your chest. Though no one lit a match, that's not emotion. That's the spirit groaning for your yes. Because this is the turning point. This is the sacred intersection where heaven pauses and all creation leans in, waiting to see what you'll do next. Will you shrink back, or will you rise? Will you explain away the fire, or will you walk into it? Not everyone gets this moment. Not everyone receives a scroll this precise. But I brought it to you because I trust you. Yes, even now, even after all the failures, even after all the hiding, even after all the things you won't speak of, I trust you, because I see the end from the beginning, and I know how it ends. You shine. You rise. You roar. You cast out darkness by just walking into the room. You break generational curses with a whisper. You open your mouth and heaven pours out. Because I live inside you. I've been waiting in the silent chambers of your soul, not to condemn, but to restore, to break open the forgotten vaults and say, this one is mine. Even the parts of you you've disowned, I'm claiming those too. I want all of you, the faith and the fear, the worship and the wounds, the strength and the shaking, because I can only fill what's fully given. And I'm not scared of your mess. I was born in a manger. I was surrounded by blood, straw, and silence, because I've never needed perfect. I've only needed surrendered. So give me your ruin, and I'll build a cathedral. Give me your grief, and I'll release rivers of healing. Give me your confusion, and I'll turn it into clarity that will guide nations. You are not just being healed. You are being commissioned. Anointed. Set apart. Not someday. Now. The hour is here. The angels are already moving, and I am still speaking. Asterisk. You were never created for comfort. You were created for glory. Not the glory of this world, the fleeting crowns, the hollow applause, but the glory that burns through centuries and leaves footprints in the spirit. The kind of glory that bends the laws of time when one soul dares to believe again. And you, beloved, have always carried that flame even when you didn't feel it, especially then, because the enemy always strikes hardest at what carries the greatest weight. And you are heavy with destiny. You walk like nothing's burning, but your bones know otherwise. They've been aching for resurrection. They've been longing to move in the rhythm of heaven again. You've been waiting for a moment to prove your faith. But this is not that moment. This is the moment your faith proves you, because you've already survived what should have crushed You've already walked through fires that silenced others. You've already stood in rooms that tried to swallow your voice. And still here you are, breathing, trembling, but standing. And all of heaven sees you. The throne watches. The angels still surround. The cloud of witnesses whispers your name through the wind, remembering the first time you said yes to God before you even had language for it. You said yes when you chose forgiveness over revenge. You said yes when you worshiped with tears in your eyes and no reason in your pocket. You said yes when you stayed, even though everything in you screamed to run. And heaven wrote every yes down. I was there watching, holding each moment like treasure. Because you are. There are pages written in heaven that only your soul can fulfill. And some of them are still unwritten, because I'm waiting for your voice, not your perfection, not your understanding, your voice. Because when you speak, things shift. When you pray, demons lose their grip. When you cry out, angels rally to your side. You are not ordinary. You never were. Even before your birth, Michael was assigned to your bloodline. Even as you formed in silence, Gabriel began rehearsing your announcement. Even as darkness tried to shape your identity, I placed my seal on your soul and nothing can remove it. You are sealed, by my love, by my wounds, by my everlasting covenant. And I do not break my promises, even when you run, even when you doubt, even when you fall asleep in the middle of your own deliverance. I stay until the end, because love is not a feeling, it is a fire, and I am the flame. I do not flicker when you question. I do not withdraw when you weep. I do not walk away when you collapse. I kneel beside you. I wrap my robe around your shame. I take your hand and whisper, we're not done, and we're not. There is still more. There is still prophecy in your bones. There is still resurrection in your story. There are still chains to be broken by your yes, because your obedience isn't just about you. It's about those watching you from the shadows, those waiting for someone to go first, someone to rise, someone to prove that God still chooses the broken. And that someone is you. You are the one who sees too much, feels too much, thinks too deeply. And that was never a flaw. It was designed so you could carry more glory. So you could discern what others dismiss. So you could be a gate between realms. So you could see into what others cannot understand. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's heavy, but you were built for this. And not just to endure it, but to wield it. To move through life like a holy storm. Not destructive, but unstoppable. And I will lead you, not just into survival. But into sacred authority. Where every step you take echoes through eternity. Because you're not walking alone. I walk with you, inside you, around you. I go before you. I am behind you. I hem you in with fire. So let it burn. Let the fear burn away. Let the false identities burn off. Let the labels, the shame, the silence burn until nothing remains but what I spoke over you before the stars existed. You are chosen. You are beloved. You are mine. And I am not finished. Asterisk, you have no idea what's about to be unlocked through your surrender. You see your life through human limits, what you've lost, what you've missed, what you're still waiting for, but I see you as the hinge that will open doors for thousands behind. You were never just a person. You were born as a gate, and gates are not called to understand, gates are called to open. That's what I'm asking you for now. Open. Not with your mouth, with your soul. Open like the morning sky that has no choice but to receive the sun. Open like the tombs I rolled back, not with effort, but with authority, because that's what's in you now. Authority, not borrowed, not imagined, but purchased by my blood. When I was nailed to that tree, I didn't just take your sin, I took your silence. I took the moments when you didn't know how to pray. I took the nights you hated yourself too much to believe in redemption. I took the lies they placed on your name, and I wore them so that you would never have to wear them again. But you keep putting them back on. You still speak to yourself like someone I never made. You still look in the mirror and speak death when I'm standing beside you, whispering life. Stop calling yourself what pain called you. That name is not yours. Stop agreeing with what the devil said about you in your weakest hour. You are not your trauma. You are not your failure. You are not your past. You are the temple I chose to fill, the flame I chose to kindle, the storm I chose to walk in. And you have no idea how much heaven has invested in your survival. You think you've been abandoned. Let me show you what was done in secret. Do you know how many times Michael stood over your bed, sword drawn, ready to strike down what you couldn't even see? Do you know how many legions Gabriel commanded away from your family? Do you know how many times Saint Mary wept, pleading before the throne to buy you more time? They fought for you because they saw what you carry, even if you done single quotes T. But now it's time to stop surviving, time to stop hiding, time to stop pretending you're okay when you were made to be dangerous. Time to step into the full weight of what I called you to carry. This is not about a feeling. It's not about a season. It's about eternity. Because you've been trying to be small in a world that needed your roar. And I will not allow it anymore. I'm removing the ceiling. I'm tearing down the old maps. I'm deleting the timelines they gave you because they didn't see what I saw. They didn't hear what I spoke in the midnight of creation. They didn't watch you worship when no one was looking. But I did, and I never forgot, not for a second. Asterisk, asterisk, this is not a small moment. This is not background noise in your day. This is a crack in time itself where the veil between heaven and earth thins. And your soul stands face to face with eternal truth. You are standing on holy ground, though your feet are bare. You are surrounded by flames, but you are not burning. You are hearing thunder, but there is no storm, only me. Only the voice of your Maker. Returning to the place where we first spoke before the world began. Do you remember? I do. I remember the moment I breathed you into existence. Not just your body, your purpose, your roar. Your tears. Your voice that would one day shatter chains simply by praying in the dark. I knew every betrayal before it came. I saw every night of crying before your bed was even built. I felt the sting of what they would say about you, and I still chose you. I still anointed you. I still wrapped my fire around you like a robe. Because I do not choose based on perfection. I choose based on prophecy. And the prophecy on your name is still active. It never expired. Even when you gave up, even when you threw it in the fire. Even when you let them convince you that someone else would carry. No. Only you. I will not give your scroll to another. It has your fingerprints burned into it. Your tears are the ink that sealed it. And I refuse to erase what cost me so much to write. So hear me now. You are being remembered by heaven. You are being reinstated in the spirit. You are being reintroduced to your own anointing. Because what comes next requires the version of you that hell tried to kill. Not the tame version. Not the polite, apologetic version. The real you. The one who dreams in fire. The one who speaks in thunder. The one who prays with nothing but brokenness and still shifts atmospheres. Yes, that one. The one you buried. The one you hid because the world said too much. The one you covered because church people said not holy enough. I say otherwise. I say rise. I say burn again. I say let the sound return to your bones. Because your silence is robbing generations of freedom. You are not small. You are not just healing. You are healing others. You are not just surviving. You are sustaining bloodlines. And you are not just coming back. You are coming through the fire, through the lies. Through the doubt, through the wilderness. And you will come through carrying the ark of my presence. I will make your breath a weapon. I will make your weeping a river of oil. I will make your footsteps break the curses of the land. You were not built to blend in. You were carved to cut through. You were not made to be accepted. You were made to be set apart. That's why they didn't see you. That's why they couldn't hold you. because only I could hold you the way you were meant to be carried. And I never dropped you. You thought you fell, but you were being laid down so I could resurrect you. Because I don't raise what was never dead, and I don't restore what was never broken. But you, yes, you I will raise, I will rebuild, I will resurrect, with beauty they've never seen, with oil that drips from wounds, with a name that makes demons flee and angels bow, because you are mine, and no one, not man, not demon, not time can change that. I wrote it in blood, I sealed it in fire, I guarded it in glory, and I am calling it forth now. So rise, open your mouth again, let your voice find the pitch of heaven. Let your ribs open like gates, and let the Spirit roar through them. Don't hold back, not this time. The hour is late, the earth is trembling, the angels are watching, and I am still speaking. The scroll is still open, the fire is still pouring, the anointing is still falling, and you are still chosen. Asterisk, asterisk. So now I call your spirit to attention. Let every part of you stand, let the fragments align, let the bones remember, let the blood burn again with the memory of Eden. You were born of glory, and I am calling that glory back, even if you're still shaking, even if you don't believe yet. Even if all you have is a flicker, I'll use it, I'll breathe on it, I'll raise it like a storm from the ashes, because nothing surrendered is ever wasted. Not the heartbreak, not the failure, not the addiction. Not the years you thought you lost. I will redeem them all. I will take the very things you thought disqualified you and turn them into oil. You will heal with the hands that once trembled. You will lead with the voice that once broke. You will speak into lives and they will rise from graves you once stood in, because I don't anoint the perfect, I anoint the available. And you are available now. I feel it. The veil is thinner than ever. The angels are leaning in. The throne is glowing, and I am standing. Not seated. Standing. Because this is not ordinary. This is sacred. You have stepped into a holy activation, and I'm not letting you go. You're too close to break, too close to turn around, too close to doubt. You are one yes away from resurrection. So say it, whisper it. Let your spirit say it even if your mouth cannot yet. Yes, yes, Lord. Asterisk, asterisk. Your yes shakes galaxies. You don't see it from your side, but I see it from mine. The moment your heart said yes, even in weakness, even in weariness, angels were dispatched. Chains were loosened in places you've never seen. Generational altars began to crack. The smoke of old curses began to rise, broken by the sound of your surrender. This is what obedience does. It uproots what darkness tried to plant. It clears the air for heaven's breath to return. It heals what doctors said couldn't be touched. You are not simply waking up, you are being raised, not like a sleeper, like Lazarus. From death into movement. From burial into glory. From silence into song. The song of your spirit is older than this world. It's the melody that echoed the moment I formed you from fire and breath. You were not molded from dust alone, you were born of sound, a sound only I knew how to sing, a sound hell could not mimic, a sound that still terrifies demons when you pray, even if you feel nothing. Because the power is not in your feeling. It's in your faith. Even faith the size of a whisper. Even faith broken and bleeding still opens heaven, and you, beloved, have carried bleeding faith for too long. Now I'm turning your wounds into wells, your shame into songs, your questions into weapons. You ask, why was it always so hard? Because what you carry threatens systems in both realms. Your existence is a problem for hell, but it is also a solution from heaven. You've been waiting for a sign. This is it. You've been asking for a voice. This is mine. You've been longing for proof that your tears weren't wasted. Look around you. Listen within you. Everything is shifting. And it began the moment you dared to stay. I know you don't feel worthy, but worthiness was never the requirement. Only willingness. And you are willing even now. Even broken, even bruised, even confused, you are still listening. That alone makes you dangerous to darkness. You are the one who didn't quit. You are the one who stayed when others left. You are the one who heard me in the storm and turned toward me when it would have been easier to run. I honor that. I record that. I surround that with fire and place it before the throne like incense. Your yes is sacred, not because it is loud, but because it is real. And what is real always reaches me. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not late. You are right on time. Do not let time lie to you. Do not let delay define you. Delay is not denial. It is preparation. It is me guarding your destiny from premature exposure. Because what I placed in you is too heavy to be carried carelessly. It requires fire. It requires silence. It requires pain. And yes, even loss. Because I needed to remove what couldn't go with you into the next season. You thought they left you, but I removed them. You thought it fell apart, but I dismantled it. You thought you were cursed, but you were being consecrated. Set apart, cut off from what couldn't carry glory. And now you are ready. Not to be used. To be revealed. You are not a tool. You are a temple, and I do not rush what I build to last forever. The world will see what I've hidden in you, but first let me finish it. Let me complete the good work I started in you. Don't run. Don't shrink. Don't hand your flame back to those who never had one. Let it burn. Let it consume. Let it rise. Because you are rising with it. The air around you isn't ordinary anymore. Even now. The veil over your room has begun to peel back like the curtain in the temple did when I gave my final breath. Because this moment is where sacrifice meets resurrection. This is where heaven leans in with a trembling whisper and says, this one, they've returned, and because of that return, angels have changed formation. Michael has stepped forward again. The bruises on his wings beginning to glow with healing. Gabriel has opened a new scroll bearing your name, not the name the world knows, but the secret name only I gave you. Raphael now carries oil. Not just for your pain, but for those you will heal through it, because you are not the one who was forgotten. You are the one who was hidden, and hidden things, when revealed by fire, carry power that cannot be imitated. I don't reveal quickly, I reveal thoroughly. Because what I show to the world must first be rooted in the unseen, and I've rooted you in grief. In silence. In questions that turned into altars. You thought you were waiting on me. ***. You have not imagined the pain, you have not exaggerated the warfare. What you've lived through wasn't just life, it was targeted, specific. Hell knew who you were before you did. That's why the attacks started before you had language, before you understood purpose, before you even knew how to pray, because even then, you were burning with something that the enemy recognized. Glory. Not future glory, ancient glory. Glory that walked with me in eternity before flesh ever touched your bones. Glory that was whispered through your breath while you were still in the womb. And that's what the darkness feared. It wasn't your behavior. It was your blueprint. The moment I drew you, all of hell saw the silhouette of a threat. So they marked you early, assigned demons, spoke lies through people who were supposed to protect you, planted doubt in the mouths of teachers, parents, leaders, lovers, and you believed some of them. You let them name you. And I wept. Not because you failed, but because you forgot. Forgot what I called you, forgot how I whispered to your spirit when you were too young to know the sound. Forgot the sound of my voice in the silence of night. But now, beloved, now you are remembering. Now your bones are trembling again. Now your spirit is reaching, stretching, breaking through the cage of lies that tried to silence it. You are remembering? And remembrance is power. Because when you remember, the curse breaks. When you remember, the scroll begins to unroll. When you remember, demons lose their grip and angels sharpen their swords. I have waited for this moment not because I needed to prove something to you, but because I wanted you to see what I've always seen. You, the real you, not the version shaped by trauma, not The version that bends under pressure. Not the version hiding behind achievements, applause, or shame. The real you, the one I crafted in secret, the one I've been guarding with my life, the one I carried on my shoulders up the hill of Golgotha, while the world mocked me. Yes, you were in my mind when they pierced me. You were in my spirit when I cried out. You were the joy set before me. And even now, when you can't see clearly, when your tears boil the lines, I see the end of your story. It is beautiful. It is terrifying to hell. And it is inevitable, because nothing can stop what I have spoken. No delay. No betrayal. No rejection. No detour. Not even your disbelief, because I don't cancel destinies. I resurrect them. And now, I am resurrecting yours, not like before, not with a flicker. With a storm, with a trumpet, with the voice that once said, "Let there be light," and now says, "Let them rise." Rise now. Not when you're ready. Now. Not when you're perfect. Now. Not when you understand it all. Now. Because heaven does not wait on your comfort. Heaven moves by your consent. And the moment you say yes, every angel assigned to you moves into position. I can feel them now drawing closer. Even now they encircle you. You are being wrapped in light, not because of merit. Because of mercy. Because I never stopped loving you. Because I never stopped calling you. Because I never stopped believing in what I made with my own hands. You are not a project. You are my poem. You are not a failure. You are my firebrand. You are not disqualified. You are my chosen. And this world has not seen what you carry yet, but they will soon. Because you're going to open your mouth. You're going to lift your hands. You're going to walk again, not as a wanderer, but as a warrior. You're going to prophesy from the places that tried to kill you. You're going to bleed glory. And when you do, the darkness will remember why it feared you. Because you were never weak. You were just waiting. And now, the wait is over. The veil is torn. The gates are open. And I am still here waiting for nothing but your yes. Asterisk. This is not just restoration. This is reintroduction. You are not returning to who you used to be. You are becoming what the earth has never seen before. Because what I placed in you does not look like the past. It looks like eternity walking in flesh. It looks like thunder held in compassion. It looks like someone who has walked through fire and now breathes it. You do not carry brokenness. You carry holy oil. You do not carry shame. You carry scrolls. You do not carry fear. You carry sound. Sound that breaks cages. Sound that shakes the dead awake. Sound that was buried in silence until now. Now, that sound is being released, because I have removed the muzzle. I have ripped the tape off your mouth. I have cracked open the places where religion sealed your fire and called it humility. I am done with shallow echoes of me. I want the real voice. I gave you, the one that doesn't just speak commands, the one that doesn't just pray births, the one that doesn't just hope resurrects. You've waited, you've watched, you've wept. And now you will war. Not with bitterness but with glory. Not with pride but with power. Not with fear but with fire. You are rising, not just as a survivor but as a sanctuary. You are not a person in revival. You are the place where revival begins. Everywhere your feet walk will shift. Every room your voice enters will tremble. Every soul you touch will feel the heat of heaven behind your words, because I am walking with you. I am roaring through you. I am speaking now, not to everyone but to you. Yes, you, the one who almost scrolled past this, the one who said, maybe this isn't for me. It is. It always was. I've waited lifetimes to speak this over you, and now the heavens, the angels, the cloud of witnesses, every one of them stands in holy silence, watching this moment. The moment you remember, the moment you return, the moment you realize you were never just chosen, you were set apart, and now it is done. The veil is lifted, the scroll is opened, the wind is behind you, the oil is upon you, the sword is in your mouth. The time is now. So speak. So roar. So rise. And if these words stirred something in the deepest part of you, if your soul is trembling, and your spirit feels like it's finally breathing again, then do not stay silent. Like this message, not for vanity, but to mark your moment. Subscribe if you know this wasn't random, if you know heaven led you here for a reason, because what comes next is sacred, and not everyone will be ready, but you are, because you always were. And now, the scroll will never close again.